Sir, you're just going to have to calm down for me. All right. Whenever you approach a suspect, it's always better to approach with 2 security officers. And that way you're going to be safe, because if you get into trouble, there's nobody to help you. At least a partner can help you, and minimum, radio or call for help. Now we're going to talk about control techniques with the baton. This is a situation where they're hostile, but they're not ready for a strike. And now you just want to either take them to the ground or move them to the police car as the police are approaching, whatever the case may be. The first one is a back arm lock, and it's with the baton. So what you do is you come up behind the guy, you shove this through the arm, the opening between the body and the arm, and then as you're pushing upward, you grab the wrist and you crank on it like this. Now, you're not going to go hard because you could actually move the shoulder out of the socket, but you're going to use a little bit of pain compliance. Now, as you can see, the shaft is on his abdomen, on the ribs, but because it's not a strike, it's not going to do any damage. The real pain is up here as you push forward and you have a leverage. And then, of course, it's a come-along technique, because I'm having him come along. Let's go. Showing you now from the back, you come underneath the arm, you start pushing up at the same time, grab the wrist, and I'll show you here, it's like a gooseneck here. You start pulling the wrist back, just like you would an arm lock. And now, keeping the wrist against the back, start cranking this up at a 45-degree angle. And you can also come in tight and use your chest against his hand so he can't move it. And now you can say, all right, go to the ground, and he goes to the ground, or come along. Another variation of the baton back arm lock is when your baton is coming out, you can grab it where it's point down. All right. Then you can stick it in like so, and the same thing applies. All right. You're going to still put the 45-degree pressure. You're going to do the gooseneck on the back of the hand. You're going to move in tight so you can control them either to the ground or come along technique. Now from a different angle, grab your baton, put it into the opening, start cranking towards a 45-degree angle away from you. Make sure you got that wrist. Even if you lose that wrist, as long as you're in tight, as long as you got that arm. Now, obviously, if you have that elbow bent, to the back, center of the back with the hand, and you move this forward, you've got a good position here. He's pretty well locked up. And if he really starts fighting, taking off, resisting, then just go forward and take him all the way to the ground. The question now is, can I do the same technique with an expandable baton? Because some of them are actually shorter than a straight baton. And the answer is yes. Same technique. Shove it underneath, grab that wrist and twist, and crank it. You still have enough of a shaft to lock against the abdomen or the ribs, and enough to push forward with the handle. So yes, it works. So from a front draw, if you want to just grab it like this with point down, it's the same thing. Stick it under there, crank the wrist back, push this forward, lock it, and now you can take them to the ground or move them off. When it comes to control techniques, or even striking techniques for that matter, don't ever touch the neck. Remember what we said, that's a red zone. It's off limits. So this is actually a technique going back into the 60s with the police, where they would put it on front of the neck like so, grab it, and control them like this, take them to the ground, or cut off the blood supply for a carotid artery control restraint. But the problem is, you're not to touch it at all, and if you get somebody's throat, just a little pressure will kill them. Now, I demonstrated that not so you can use it, but just to keep it in mind. Don't touch the neck. If you do, we're talking about all kinds of legal troubles. This next technique is what we call a thigh pull for control or a thigh pull for a takedown. And what you do is you come up underneath the groin area and twist, fingers up. Pull on the thigh, push the back with the hand, and he'll go forward, or you can move him in the direction you want him to go. Now, where that technique could really come in handy is, imagine this. Somebody is beating your partner, or they have a knife stabbing him or her, or they're about to put a gun and a bullet through the back of their head, and you come up behind the hostile person, stick that baton underneath the legs, take them down. Well, what's going to happen with that weapon in their hand as they're moving towards the ground? They're going to obviously let go. So that is a way to not only take someone down, but disarm them at the same time. So that concludes our baton training. Remember, these are perishable skills and you need to practice. Also, a baton is a weapon. So use your common sense, use your training, and use it only in self-defense. I've been an advisor on the board of advisors on Security Training Center for 2 decades since the company was first formed. And this baton training video is just part of the contribution I've made over the years. Now, I'm still a certified guard with the state of California, so I have to have a continuing education in security matters, and I even go to STC, even though I am a contributor, because there I can get good online training and also very clear and concise training materials. So, visit the website and stay safe.